I'm not gonna read act 2, I'm gonna read act 1, and it's 3 scenes, I think. Yes? Okay, I might as well. Oh, cool, man. I like that. I had a friend in school that, his dad did that as a hobby. He had all these little rocks and he made jewelry out of it, and that was pretty cool, man. I liked it. Yeah. Oh, anyways, sorry. I have to make sure I'm centered. There's a lion on the screen here. So, um, I'm going to read, my play. I wanted to write a play because, uh, excuse me. When I was in school, I went to school up here in Canada, so we took English literature, so I don't know anything about American lit or I mean, very little about American literature, but, so we took literature. There was a man by the name of Oliver Goldsmith, and he wrote a play called, She Stoops to Conquer, and then he wrote a novel, The Vicar of Wakefield, and then he wrote a poem, The Deserted Village, and each one of them is considered a classic in their own genre, and, like, nobody's ever done that before, which is pretty cool. So I thought, "Hey, I'd like to do that." So it's like, I wrote a poem, and it's, well, I'm not the successful guy, so I wrote a poem, and it's long, and then I thought, "Well, I'm gonna write a play." I wanted to write a play, so I started to write a play. I started to write a play. I call it Kapellmeister Strauss. It's about Richard Strauss, who was a, composer in Germany, and he died around 1947 or something like that. So, he was in Germany all that time. So, he was a big supporter of Germany during the First World War, because that was a proper war, I guess. And then, he was not so much, a a fan of the, Nazis. However, he had a problem because his daughter-in-law was Jewish, and so then he had to toe the line, so to speak, and they wouldn't do anything to her. So he was, like, basically the poster child for the, Nazi party, and, he hated it, but he didn't have a choice. And so then, he got loud, he started saying things, and, they didn't like that either, so they started taking things away from him. And, so I thought, yeah, I thought it was an interesting story to write about, a guy, yes, about a guy who was stuck in a hard place, like, so, I thought, "I've gotta do something different," so I thought, "Oh, I wanna do it in iambic pentameter," just because I'm an idiot. So I did it, you see? Like, it's iambic pentameter. Yeah, that's yeah, but I'm not gonna read it from there. I'm gonna read it from my, what do you call it? Program, there you go. Because, um, I can't, this is so small. It's so small, and it's like, I would have to put my glasses on, and oh god. No. So, I'm going to read it. Now, I don't know how to do this precisely because I've never done this before. So I'm going to read the stage directions to you so that way you kinda have an idea what's going on because, well, it counts a lot. So let's just get into it and see what happens. I gotta clear my throat. Act 1, scene 1. The stage is dark. Actually, I can't see. There we go. The stage is dark. A soft blue light comes on upper left stage, where Richard Strauss is standing on a long scaffold that serves as a stairway, the kind once used to deplane passengers. He speaks out, looking down at the dark stage, as if there was as if there's someone there. My name is Richard Strauss. I write the world its operas. Perhaps you've heard of me. The stage goes dark once again as a white spotlight shines on the Kapellmeister, a recurring character who takes part in each scene, donning his stage costumes from a coat rack, standing beside a chair placed stage right. There's a trunk beside the chair with a variety of hats he sorts through. Among them are one or two officers' caps. On the coat rack, there's a suit jacket, a German and British army tunic, along with a dress shirt and black dress pants. There are a pair of black dress shoes under the chair. The Kapellmeister is dressed in U.S. Army fatigues. He sits with his elbows on his knees, contemplating as he smokes a cigarette and looks up into the darkness. He turns to the audience as he stands and starts to undo his U.S. Army tunic. Perhaps you've heard of me, he says to us. And he says it right out of the blue, too, just like that. Makes you think maybe he's been standing at the window watching us, Or maybe just thinking. I write the world its operas. He says it like, like he thought he had to explain who he was to me. I guess because I'm a Yank? Why would he? Well, I know him. Of course I do. He's the greatest living composer. He's Richard fucking Strauss. Pardon mon français, the Don Quixote of our day. Today, tomorrow, every fucking day. He's what we need here, now, in this war-torn, battle-burdened world. But then, there's those questions they keep asking me. You think he's one of them? And that's a collaborator, I ask? To which they want me to say, what? Yes? Who can say what he is without talking to him first? I say, look up, say, in German. I look up, say, in German. You wrote the Rosenkavalier, I say, and with some encouragement. Then, wait. Same light, stage left. Strauss says, and Salome. The light goes out. Kapellmeister, Salome. Of course, yes, Salome. With a heavy sigh, I take a step backward, looking up at the ornate architecture, painted skies, wild cherubs in the clouds, laughing at the world where people like you and me, die for the sake of art. As if we need another cause to die for in this goddamn war. Same light, stage left. Strauss, do you know me? The light goes out. Pellmeister says, do I know him? Well, 4 months from now, I'll still be here in this very house. And I'll say to him in my own grand way, in my own grand inimitable way, I'll say to him, Herr Strauss, no oboe concerto for me? Same light, stage left, Strauss, no. The light goes out. The Kapellmeister says, and that was it. For me, at least. He sits on the chair beside the coat rack, unlacing his boots as he talks. He leans over and smells his feet. I'd never sit or play scat with him again, but some months later, 2 guests enter, carrying a table out to center stage as well as 2 chairs. They sit and one of them pulls out a deck of cards. He sent me, care of the U.S. Postal Service, his oboe concerto. Sent to, he starts to change out of his soldier's fatigues as he speaks. Me, John Delancey, from the fulsome state of Pennsylvania. By then, I was out of the army and living stateside, a junior oboist for the City of Philadelphia Orchestra. But before that, he brings his chair to the table as Strauss walks out on stage and promptly sits, just as the Kapellmeister slides the chair in for him, then finishes dressing. Strauss, and what exactly is it they want me to say? The first guest, say, they don't want you to say anything, mate. They don't want to have to explain you to anyone. The second guest, is that all the cards? Strauss says, yes. You put the last 2 cards in the middle of the table. That is your Scott. Not necessarily your cards, you're just a dealer. But whoever wins the bidding, the first guest says, and when are we supposed to bid? Strauss, right now. And remember, the goal for each player during the bidding is to bid a game value as high as your cards allow, no higher than necessary to win the auction. First guest, that makes no. Wait, I take that back. That makes no sense at all. That's what I meant to say. It just makes no sense at all. Delancey says, you can't expect to pick it up overnight. The second guest says, overnight? It's been since last week. It's my guesstimation that him learning overnight would be akin to a real sensation, like saying, he's a natural, an overnight sensation. The problem is, he thinks he's still playing gin. The first guest, I think I'd rather be drinking it. Strauss says, if I can teach Goose Mahler, I should be able to teach you. At least English isn't as much a second language for you as it is for me. First guest says, I didn't know Mahler spoke English. Strauss says, did I say? Delancey, he didn't. That's the whole point of the story, isn't it, Herr Doctor? Second guest says, and what point would that be? First guest says, why do you always call him that? Doctor. He's no doctor, a musician, but I hear even that's debatable. Strauss says, like pearls before swine, I say, like pearls before swine. First guest says, what's that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean something to me? Because it doesn't. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you if you want to know the reason. The second guest says, you have a reason? The first says, you're damn right I do. The Lancey says, I call him Herr Doctor because he was given an honorary degree from Oxford a few years back. Strauss says, a few? The first guest says, you don't want to hear my reasons? The second guest says, not really, mate. The first guest says, do you think you can mock me and I won't say nothing? Second guest says, not at all. I just don't care. Or should I say, I care little for a man's true feelings in a world where men care little for the value of one man's life. Is that better? Does that help explain it? Strauss says, touche. The first guest throws his cards down in anger. Touche? What do you mean by that? Are you looking to get me mad? Because if you're looking to get me mad, you're going about it the right way. Delancey says, now, why would I want to get you mad? Sit down. You're playing cards with one of the world's greatest living composers. And this is how you behave? Sit down and play your hand. He sits down and picks up his cards. Strauss says, are you done? The first guest says, done. Am I done? Do I sound like I'm done? Let me tell you when I'm done. I'm done now. Strauss says, good. Now, I'd like an answer to the question I asked earlier. Second guest says, what question was that? Exactly, says Strauss. First guest says, what exactly do you mean by exactly? Now you're going to be like that with him? It's not enough. You do it to me. Delancey says, do what to you? First guest says, insult me. Strauss says, I said nothing that can be construed as an insult to anyone. First guest says, what about you calling me a swine? Doesn't that at least qualify a little in your humble opinion? Second guest, humble. First guest, I was trying to be facetious. Strauss says, what does that word mean? The first guest says, I guess it means I was trying not to be like you, a bastard kraut. He throws his cards down again and stands up. Strauss, and what does this have to do with my question? Delancey, the first and second guest, all together say, what question? Strauss, what exactly is it they want me to say? First guest, I told you. They don't want you to say anything. They don't want to hear what you have to say any more than they want to explain your situation in the first place. What does that mean? It means what? My situation. What situation? The first guess is the simple answer is this: that people outside of Germany believe you're a Nazi and were a collaborator during the war. As the stage goes dark, the two guests pick up the table and one of the chairs, then exit stage right. Strauss remains in his chair. The Kapellmeister appears at the coat rack as the spotlight comes on. He takes off his suit jacket, then puts on a German uniform, tunic, and cap. Scene 2, Kapellmeister. Herr Dr. Strauss, the most overrated composer of his time. A good German, sure. A patriot, ja. but a Nazi sympathizer. Oh, no. What, you didn't know? It's sad but true. Still, he's willing to throw it all away for the sake of his daughter-in-law. A dirty little Jew bitch, that one. She plays as secretary. His son acts as his manager. She comes from fine kite stock, or so I'm told. Lots of money, which I'm sure suits Herr Dr. Strauss. A man whose family obviously means more to him than his country, or der Fuhrer. But still, he's a true patriot, by his own admission, of course. And then there are the children. Cashews, ja? Is that the word? He thinks, because the world calls him the great Richard Strauss, people will mourn his loss. Will they? He may think he has der Fuhrer's protection, or the Reich's. Perhaps he can position himself so that he's immune to what's going on around him. What with naivety and old world charm of his. But he has no clue, does he? 2 German soldiers appear carrying a desk and placing it in front of Strauss. They wait for the Kapellmeister, who leaves the coat rack, puts his hat on the desk, and sits down. Soldiers, Heil Hitler! Kapellmeister, Heil. Strauss, you sent for me, Minister Goebbels. Goebbels, yeah, you are to renounce the presidency of the Reich Music Chamber for reasons of ill health, and it takes effect today. Strauss, may I know the reason for this? Goebbels, reasons? You have the unmitigated gall to dare question me? The fact I'm telling you is reason enough. Strauss, the circumstances, Goebbels, the circumstances? If you could just tell me what I've done, then maybe I would understand, and then, yes, perhaps even accept. Perhaps. Do you honestly think your posting actually meant something to anyone else but you? It was me. I created this position for you. It was me who made it possible for you, with you in mind, because yours is a name people recognize as the greatest example of what an Aryan is or can be. Did you really think we'd be squandering such an opportunity? I'm not a pawn to be moved about a chessboard or a trick collected in a game of Scott. Do not make the mistake of believing yourself the greatest German composer of your day. There are other men worth more than you, men of real talent, who are far more youthful and so much more vital to our cause. Your duty has come and gone. Your day has come and gone. You have been left by the wayside. The only reason you're still in favor is because der Fuhrer admires your work and is willing to turn a blind eye as far as your transgressions go. What transgressions would those be? Do not play me for a fool, Herr Doctor. You are in a tenuous position at best. Must I remind you that your son is married to a Jew? That the only thing protecting her and her brats is your name. So you see, you will be a pawn moved about the board. You will do what we ask, as much as what we tell you. And what is there to stop me from leaving? With all that you've accomplished as far as your fellow musicians and their publishing rights are concerned, hasn't that always been a hope of yours? Perhaps the legacy you hope to leave behind for those 2 brats? How can you leave now? Where would you go? I could try America. And what do you hope to accomplish there? Just you and that old crone you call a wife? I would take my son and his family with me. Your son is now considered a Jew through marriage. I could have him, your daughter-in-law, as well as your grandchildren, detained. You would leave me with no other choice. Am I not free? Am I not a free man in my own country? You are. But there are laws preventing Alice, the children, and even Franz from leaving. They would be held as enemies in a detainment center. Detainment? Would what would you have us do? No one wants them. Them? The Jews. We've proven it. You know how we sent requests out asking other countries to take them off our hands? They're all so quick to cry out at their perceived notions of mistreatment or question the new laws we've enacted, but at the same time, refuse to take them off our hands. Refuse! It seems no one cares but you. Or is it only your Jews you care about? I suppose it's up to us to come up with a final solution. You can't expect me to turn a blind eye to the plight of the Jews. So says the man whose own publisher is a Jew. Tell me, do you continue to correspond with that poet? What's his name? Zweig? You know exactly who I mean. And yet, you still ask. Since dear Hofmannsthal's sudden death, I've been at a loss looking for other librettists. Juden, Jew. That's what you meant to say, wasn't it? That's what you want to find yourself, another Jew. And have you forgotten this government's proposed mandate to rid the world of these verminable Jews? And yet, you insist on playing their music. You know this must stop. Immediately. Men like Walter, Reinhardt, and Klemperer, those are men who must have an artistic say in the new Germany. Music and politics cannot and will not stand separate. And I say this because it is this nation's responsibility to fully eradicate the foreign element and open the door to those artists who have been ignored and suppressed all these years. What would you have me do? Do? Your work should be an event, not an occasion. Do you think it matters to an artist if the model's a Jew, a Catholic, or the man in the moon? Of course not. I look to present the world our German culture, our history as a people, as you see the history of the Reich. Excuse me? Der Führer has stated his belief in the German ideal of man as the Aryan race. I try not to get involved in all things politics. No? What happened in Dresden? Dresden? You wrote a letter to your Jew friend, Zweig. And why wouldn't I? We have a history of correspondence. How do you know I've been in contact with him? How? Do I know? Do you think a man like you is not watched? Why would I think you're watching me? Fool! Do you think this is a game? You must, because that would be one explanation for this. Drops a letter on the desk. And what is this? You don't recognize your own hand? What I recognize is a personal letter between me and my friend, with your Jewish friend, Stefan Zweig. I have many Jewish friends. The theater is full of them, yes. And in time they will be rooted out and their positions and the positions they hold given to real Germans. But they are Germans. The only true German is an Aryan. The Jews are the reason this country has lost its standing. They control banks, manufacture our goods, imports, exports. They control our economy and are the reason we lost the damn war. And you go through life like you're wearing blinders. You have a Jew who writes your words, a Jew who publishes your words, Jew bankers who take care of your money. You protect them. I protect my family. It is my hope to leave them a legacy of work that will stand the test of time, enabling them to live a comfortable life when I'm gone. And by them, you mean your Jewish grandchildren. Yes, my Jewish grandchildren. And now that we're on the same page, you can tell me what happened in Dresden. Dresden? I understand the opera premiere was a success. Wholly successful. And after? I don't understand what you mean by that. No? Surely you know the show is cancelled. What's that? Only its third performance? Can you think of why? The world premiere was a success, for which I offer you hearty congratulations. But after that, the second show was so sparsely attended, they couldn't give the tickets away. The third show was cancelled entirely. And you don't know the reason? I was told my soprano was taken ill. Yes, the Jew flu, or so I'm told. It is the tragic irony of life's dire discrepancies, one could say. It would help you to understand what's going on these days. What do you mean? Surely you're aware of the blood libel. Lies perpetrated through the centuries meant to extort those unfortunate enough to be caught up. You fool! You have the audacity to defend the same people proven responsible for your country's woes, and you paint them as if they are the victims? Do you not understand? I could have your son and your daughter-in-law arrested along with those grandchildren. Do you think you are immune to the law? The stage goes dark. A white spotlight centers on the coat rack as Goebbels enters the light. He takes off his tunic and hangs it on the coat rack. He takes his officer's hat off, tosses it in the trunk, puts on the suit jacket, and sits down on the chair. He lights a cigarette and looks out at the audience. He's the Kapellmeister once again. He bends down and sorts through the trunk, finding a fedora, puts it on. Scene 2. Kapellmeister. He stands up. Sorry. Sorry. I don't know what that was. Just came on me. Scene 3. Kapellmeister. He stands up, looks at the table, and Strauss. And that was the way he was, willing to stand up to all of them, unaware of the dire consequences of his actions. He was an innocent man lost in a time of great upheaval. I suppose a great many of us were like that, weren't we? We lived our lives as though nothing had changed from the way it used to be. Well, unbeknownst to us, everything had changed. Everything around us had changed except ourselves. Still, he was at the heart of it, even in the midst of it, I'd say, a patriot, and not for the love of his Germany, or the German Empire, or his belief in the Kaiser. No! Did he think of him as the anointed patron of God, as some would have you believe? Nothing as archaic as that. But as the supreme head of state? Yes. And at the end of the Great War, when it seemed that everything was lost, he brought us together with the beauty of his music. It was his music that touched the soul of mankind, the voice of the everyman that resounded through the great halls of Europe, a poetry of sound and music that resonated through the very chambers of those great halls, and through the very hearts that beat to the rhythm of his music. But I digress. This is not what he had to offer the world, but instead what the world wanted to take from him. And what did they want of him after it was over? All the battles fought and won and the millions dead and misplaced. What else did they think they could take from him? A light comes through the window high above, a single light centering on Strauss, who was seated at the table, as the light on the Kapellmeister goes dark. The two guests, dressed as MPs, bring out a second table with 3 folding chairs stacked on top of it. They set the chairs on the other side of the table facing Strauss. They are in the music room of his house. The 2 MPs stand to the side at attention as the Kapellmeister enters with a British officer and a French cultural minister. They salute, then stand at ease. At the table across from them, Strauss rises briefly, politely, and the 2 guards look at him as he sits again. 2 more people come on stage, a man and a woman, carrying their own folding chairs. They are German. One sits, pulls out a notebook, and begins to write. The other sits in silence. Kapellmeister. Good morning, Mr. Strauss. My name is James E. Harrington. I'm what you call a full-bird colonel, which is 1 step away from a brigadier general. Those aren't oak leaf clusters you see on my collar, but silver eagles. I'll be overseeing this here committee, British officer. It is, in fact, a tribunal, if I may. Harrigan, what's that you said? It's one of them fancy English words you use? I only speak American. Yes, well, there's no such thing, is there? I mean, there's only English, the King's English, if I may. Harrigan, are you saying American isn't a language? Ridiculous. Say what you will about it, all the same. Like I said, I'm an American, and in America, we speak American. And it's in this capacity that we all find ourselves here today in order to determine if you, Mr. Strauss, are, or ever have been, or if you've ever served as a member, that being, as officially stated or sanctioned or otherwise, a member of the Nazi Party. This committee is part of a plan, that being to the denazification of those Germans who seem to think they stand above the others. This is in no way a witch hunt. Harrigan, does he even know what that means? British officer, I'm almost certain he does. Harrigan, are you now? Well, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure he does. But just in case, with me, if you'll just bear with me a brief moment, is Alistair Penrose, the British cultural liaison, if I'm not wrong. I'm afraid you are, sir. If I may add, Harrigan, add what? Forgive me if I say that you are mistaken. No, you may not. I believe I said it right the first time. It's just that you neglected to tell him that I'm a major in His Britannic Majesty's army. Harrigan, you are? Funny. I wasn't told about that. Not told about it? It is that even a thing? What, you were not told I was a ranking officer? Just not the proper ranking officer. It's not such a bad thing. This sort of thing happens all the time. Happens all the time. Maybe it does within your rank and file, Colonel. But I can assure you that His Britannic Majesty's rank and file are not about to neglect the rank or even forget, if I may say. No, you may not, Major. If I may be so kind as to beg your pardon, sir? No, you may not be begging my pardon. I'd like, if we can, to move this along. We've yet to even begin, and Mr. Strauss, it's Herr Strauss. The proper form of address for a German gentleman is Herr. Harrigan, Herr. Well, that's just ducky now, then, isn't it? I've yet to introduce our French member, our compatriot, Monseigneur Lucien. Pauses and looks at the paper in front of him. I'm sorry, how do you say that? Frenchman, Marceau. Harrigan, so it is, so it is. Now, just so you understand what's going on here, we brought in a translator, Penrose, interpreter. Harrigan looks at Strauss, reads his notes. It says here you have a smattering of English. What does that mean? He also has an understanding of en français. Harrigan, I told you I only speak American. We'll have to use the translator just to be sure we're all on the same page. Marceau, the same page? What is that meaning? Harrigan, I was led to believe that you spoke English. Penrose says, perhaps he's not as proficient in American as you seem to be. Harrigan, are you mocking me, Major? If you are, understand this, I don't take too kindly to mockery. I meant no disrespect, Colonel. As long as we understand each other, I don't know how it works with you Brits. But in this man's army, we respect an officer's rank. I understand, sir. Good. Then maybe we can get through this ordeal and be done with it. I'm tired of these goddamn Krauts and their endless lies. That's all they seem to know, how to lie. When you hear them explain it, you tend to think that no one in this goddamn country was a goddamn Nazi, when we know that more than half of them were. We know for a fact who was and who was not a goddamn Nazi. So perhaps, Colonel, we might start the proceedings before we have to break for lunch. Lunch? What a great idea. All in favor of stopping for lunch, raise your hand. Mr. Strauss, somebody want to tell him what's going on here so we can get out of here and down to the cantina? The stage goes dark. Oh, okay. That's it. Oh, look at that. Oh, hi, Kim. Kim joined me. I went to school with her. Wow, that's a long time ago. We want to go there. Yeah, so I have, let me see. We have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 people. Oh, I could have just looked over here. 6 with me. So there you have it. How long was that? Holy smokes. That's not bad, eh? 35 minutes for the first act. It's the first time I've read it out in its completion. Like I told you, I'm not an actor, so I did the best I could. I didn't do different voices and all that stuff because, that would just sound a little too weird. My British accent, my French, en français. All the film. My brother taught me that. Yeah, so that's Kapellmeister Strauss. So then I have Act 2. Act 2 is it's not well, it's pretty long. I'm looking through it. I'm just trying to figure it all out. Oh, there we go. It's not that long. It's only 6 pages. I could read it to you, but then I'd have to kill you because it's no. I gotta finish that. But when do I find the time? Yes, I am. I will do it. Not a problem. I like it. I uh I like writing it because of the challenge. It's a big challenge. I mean, it's not proper iambic pentameter. I'll give you that right now. I know that it isn't. It's, got the pentameter. There's, 5 beats, 10 syllables, but, it's not stressed properly, and I know that. Just call it, we'll call it iambic pentameter blank, blank verse, whatever. I don't know. It's been 50 years since I've been in school, right, Kim? Yeah, so, um, I, I want to, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. You see, that's why I stopped, because 'cause I'm kinda like I lose my way sometimes. So I write it, then it's like I write myself into a corner, then I have to figure out how to get out, and, thing with doing it this way is that if I make one change to one word, changes the entire line, and then sometimes I have to, like, work on 3 or 4 different lines just to make everything work again. But hey, I don't mind. It gives me time to think. But, I think it went all well. What do you say, Nate? No? Okay, so, um, that's pretty well it for my, my reading. Nobody has any questions, so, it was nice of you to guys nice of you guys to come and visit. So different. At least my mic was on. I turned it I started doing a reading, for, what was it? The Poets Corner. I did an entire half an hour and all of that stuff, and then I looked at my microphone and noticed that it wasn't turned on. So I had to do it all over again. Like, oh wow, man, how brain dead. But hey, brain farts. We all have them. And I dressed up for tonight too. Let's see. There you go. Da, da, da. And and I have my old. I didn't notice that. I did notice this last week, but I have my old background with me, and I like that because I don't know how I got that other background, but I like this one, and it's home, home with all my toys, my little binoculars, my book, Othello and King Lear, puppet, not quite. Um, what else? I can go like this. Oh, there we are. This is my flower pot. Was my mother's. So that thing is, I would say, 80 years old, close to it. Not as old as those. Those are from the First World War, the absolute latest. Let me see what else. Oh, yeah, eagle feather. I only have 3. The other 2 are over there. I only have 3. 45 years of working in the mill, and I only have 3 eagle feathers to show for it. And the eagles fly there all the time. Oh, I gotta turn it away from my pajamas. Oh, let me see what else have I got here. I gotta like straight see these. Oh, can you see these? Yeah. See those? Those are my stories. Those are my novellas. I put them in binders. They all have different titles. The African Songbook, uh, Tales of the Vienna Woods, things like that. Those are the ones that I want to print up as soon as I get 100 paid subscribers. Then I can print those up into books and I can mail them to my 100 paid subscribers. All you have to do is send me a postcard from the city you're from. So that way I can put it in a scrapbook. And then I'll always have your address. And then when I do another book, I can mail it to you because as a paid subscriber, you're guaranteed to have all the books. Everything that I publish or put out or whatever is yours. $30 per year. That's it. So that way I can do what needs to be done. I can take what is it? I can do my video, what is that? Movies and stuff, AI and stuff like that. 'Cause, yeah, I'm gonna use AI. Why wouldn't I? I'm an old man. I get to play with shit like that. That's cool. I think so. It's like, I get to experiment and get to create, and it's like, as long as I just, like, all the ideas come from my head, and I just use it to help me make a cartoon figure or whatever like that. 'Cause I don't have the time to sit there. I wanna do stop action, right? I have a little thingy for stop action animation. I wanna try that. I think it'd be really cool, but that takes a long time, and, I don't have a lot of time. I have a lot of time left. Oh, sorry. What is it? Yeah, 85 and out, so that's what, like 17 years? Ooh, 17 years. So I figure if I can write till I'm 85, if I can write until I'm 85 and I can write 3 to 4 novellas during the course of a year, then I will have approximately 75, I think, which will give me 25, books. And the books will be the size of my book. That one up there will be that size, but it will be a blank cover. The cover will have no pictures on it. It will just be a gloss color, like, the African songbook is going to be ebony with gold print. I wanted it embossed, but I don't know if I can get that. And then the, Tales of the Vienna Woods will be, either forest green or British racing green. I'm leaning towards British racing green because I had a TR once that was British racing green. Yeah, so then, every book will have a different color, and every title will be the same, trilogy, because it's gonna be 3 novellas in it. And on the inside, it will have the name of the, volume. Volume 1, The African Songbook. Volume 2, you know, Tales of Vienna Woods. I have a I have 8 volumes there. I mean, The Bridges of Rome is one. Those are all stories that deal with, obviously, Italy, not Rome, just Italy. Because one takes place in Montepulciano, the other one takes place in, Florence. I don't even know anymore. Wow. How can I forget a lot. It's okay. I'm allowed to. Because, you write a story and then the next one that you write is, like, better than the last, you think to yourself. It's like this one that I'm writing now. It's a really interesting one. It's the 3rd one that goes into the, Tales of the Vienna Woods. The, revolutionary, his wife, and her lover. And it's takes place in 1921, rise of Nazism, and, the way that they dealt with, political rivals was assassination. Did you know that? There were over 150 political candidates that were shot, and very few of them were actually investigated. Pretty sad. Yeah, interesting though, because, I can take the sister from Cinderella and her sisters. There's 3 sisters. I take I've already done the one story with, the one girl, and then, kinda like the other story about the other side of the other sister, her husband, Count Novak, and then this one is the, other sister, the quiet one. She runs away to Berlin with her lover, and, they end up in, yeah, go through, Vienna and end up in Berlin, and he ends up in politics, and then, well, before you know it, he's, he's a Nazi. It's just, he's gonna help, build build the party. Interesting, yes. So then there's the wife, and I decided right off the bat, she's gonna get knocked up because what better complication is there for something like that? She has to come to a decision. Do I wanna should I stay or nope, 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 don't do that. I did that last week. She has to, decide whether she wants to stay in Berlin with her husband or whatever he is, because 'cause they're not really married. I don't really think so. Can't remember. I haven't d oh, that's because I haven't written it yet. Sorry. Yeah, I haven't written that part yet. Yeah, she's not gonna be married, okay? They're just living together, living in sin, and then she gets knocked up, but she has a lover because her husband's been ignoring her. It's, like, complicated, but it's supposed to be. But it's not gonna be as long as my, last one. It's not gonna be 35,000 words or whatever. I'm thinking, like, 17, 18, 20, whatever. Not long, not long. I mean, just enough to, be a novella. Otherwise, I can't call it a novella, right? That's the novella zone. Yeah, so, um, and what else? That's it. That's all the news I have. Oh, yeah, I've been busy, busy, busy because, the wife has the day off today, so I haven't even gotten to the computer today. I've just been doing stuff, you know. Well, we made dinner, and that took a long time because everything's screwed up. Yeah, she still does that once in a while. Okay, it was me. Who we lying to? We all know. Well, we don't, but Kim does. I'm not the chef. I'm the chief bottle washer. Okay. I'm the sous chef. I open up the wine and pour and fill the glasses. Like, yeah, well, it works. Works for me. Okay. And I'm going to call it a day. So everybody, Nate, thank you so much for coming, and I hope I see you again next week. And the same for you, Charles. And JLG Noga. That's not Brandon. No. And Marie. Oh, and Kim, I'll just see you in a couple of minutes, won't I? Maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna say ciao for now, okay? And I will see you next week, same bat time and the same bat channel, I hope. So arrivederci and ciao for now.